53,000 unofficially at half-time here, so it's a big turn-up, and the Bombers lead the Blues by 6 points in what has been a very interesting game. The Bombers are out there, Andrew McKay leading out Scott Camperelli and Brett Ratton. And can the Blues hang on here? I reckon their fans were pretty happy at half-time as we go down to the Big Dipper.
They certainly were, Bruce. As they went down the race, the crowd just said, yeah, you're in the game, keep it going. And we reckon there's 53,000 people up to half-time. I reckon 50,000 of them were the Blues supporters. But I noticed the last 5 minutes in that quarter, they rested Hickmont, Rice, and also McKay. And now, through the older blokes here, you assume they would finish off the game now. But look, the Blues are certainly in this game. They're playing one-on-one competition. And if a guy like Lance Whitnell can just get his hands on the ball in front of goal, you know, maybe snag 1 or 2 goals, will certainly lift the side up, Bruce.
No doubt, Dipper. Thank you for that. What about the centre squares, Wolsey, as we see Fletcher there? How they set themselves up in the first half?
Well, you'll see Mark Porter's been in for every one. He's been in for the 13 centre bounces, and that's a big ask. Johnny Barnes has been in for nearly all of them as well. In the first quarter, James Hird was in for 5. He didn't go in at all in that second quarter, and in the second quarter, Carlton had the ascendancy. It was 4 clearances to 2. Interesting also that Joe Mercedes stepped out of that centre square bounce area in the second term, and I think that was mainly to take Ratton away from the action.
So what do you think about this second half term? And I mean, what are Carlton's chances of A, staying competitive, and B, maybe snatching a victory?
Well, your basic rule of thumb is when you tire as a footy team, the best team's skills don't drop away in direct comparison. Essendon don't drop away with their skills as they get tired. Carlton might. We've already seen a few skill errors. I think it's still the way I think. If Carlton are within 5 goals at the end of the night, take your hat off to them. If you're a Carlton supporter, say they've performed admirably.
Do you think they sense the opportunity they could pull off a glorious, famous victory here against all the odds?
I've got no doubt that Wayne Britton would pump that up to them and say, look, we've got 4 of our champion players out tonight. No one's given us any hope whatsoever. You fellas are, just 1 goal away from creating something absolutely fantastic. Big crowd, just show them how good you are. And I've got no doubt that the Carlton players will give it absolutely everything. We've seen that in the first half with players like Lappin and Houlihan, young fellas in the forward line, little Humes working his heart out, Big Porter's rucking hard, so they'll have a crack.
I tell you what, Wolsey, you're sounding like an ex-premiership coach when you talk like that. The coach is still in you, isn't it?
I'm glad I'm sitting here, Bruce.
Both forward lines are setting up in an absolute spine, a straight line of players down the middle of the ground. There it is.
Yes, and Big Alessio doing the ruck work.
So the second half, what will it provide? Just 11 goals in the first, but we had a contest all the way. So the Blues to the right and Bombers left, as Ratton, as he did in the opening quarter, gets the first kick away to half forward. Wellman, Lappin, Wellman with him.
New opponent for Houlihan. Wellman's moved over onto them.
And that's a compliment to him, Durham, isn't it? Because the young fella played really well in that first half. Wellman, an experienced defender, going onto him.
Kicked 2 goals, Houlihan, in the opening half. He was the multiple goal scorer for the Blues. Lloyd got 3. And Masiti 2 for the Bombers. Yet another handball by Mercury. And now coming back to Fletcher. Good kick too. And finds his target in Solomon at centre wing. Away Solomon. Beautifully weighted kick to Hird. Runs onto it. Well done, Beaumont. Hird was clever. Gets it forward. McVeigh. And again, the ability for Carlton to be manning up, put the pressure on and out of bounds on the full.
And look at the poise here. He just waited. He didn't panic. And he almost got away with it.
Looked like he was out, but the umpire, because of the quick ball transfer, was 120 metres behind.
Barnard in quick. Masidi comes back. Hird trying to impose himself early in this third quarter.
Well done.
Barnard's got it.
Barnard started this third quarter inside the forward 50. They had Hird, Barnard and Lloyd. We saw Barnard play on the wing in the second quarter and absolutely dominate. He's gone into the forward 50, tread hot in his opponent.
Solomon did well here, gave him some space. Watch him on the left-hand side of screen and just place his body between Barnard and Culpet.
Yeah, Massey should have come over the top and just put a big fist onto it.
So Barnard, who has become a real goal kicker in that grand final and starting this season in the same way. It looks good off the boot. It's the biggest margin of the match so far. In low-scoring games, that little break, it's just edging towards the danger signs, isn't it?
It is, and we'll just see here with this kick. You'll see Massey in the background. He's got Lucas covered at the back, and he knows Lucas won't compete for the footy, so he steps out of it. You've just got to go over the top.
Yeah.
So Barnes interchange here with Jacobs and Ramanauskas, I think it is. And Moorcroft hidden. So Barnes starting interchange. 5-6, 7-6. So the biggest margin so far in the match, just 2 goals. But you'd reckon the Blues have got to get the next one. Ratton, well done, to Rice. And then Rice tries to measure the kick, but it's not a good one. It was too far for Favola, and nobody to take it except for Wellman.
Now they break.
Johnson. Jason Johnson it is. To Joe Masiti. To Stephen Alessio, inboard to Long. He's got Solomon. They've worked it out beautifully. Solomon away and goes wide to half-forward Lucas. Good tackle by Massey. Back to Solomon. Showed his opponent the ball. Culprit goes to full forward. Not a good kick. And Manton's had very few victories over Lloyd tonight. He got one there. Back to Whitnell. So deep. Beaumont.
Good thing about Glennie Manton that he was playing in front, still didn't feel the body. If the kick had been a little bit better, he was in trouble.
Not a good kick by Beaumont. It really set up Culprit, but he was brave enough to stand there. Freeborn. Good kick. Gave Houlihan the chance. Mackay to Mansfield.
Good
Chip
kick.
kick it is. It's given Lappin every chance. Oh, Johnson, they were stiff.
Well, they're working Pagan's paddock, the Blues.
Mercury, half volley by Henneman. Hurd getting involved early. Oh, good run down at the back by Mackay. Blumfield to Hurd. Hurd bangs it. A bit carelessly, actually, and Beaumont's got it, who started on Hurd tonight. And can the Blues mount an attack here?
Coppert injured coming off.
Thanks, Dipper. He was probably injured in that mark where he had to stand and wait for it. So they're just having trouble at half forward now, aren't they, the Blues?
Andrew Mackay is not one of the quickest blokes on earth, and he wouldn't win any 100-metre races, but the amount of blokes he gets to and chases down from behind is phenomenal for just how quick he really is, or isn't.
And just looking at Carlton's forward line, they've got Andy Mackay up there, Houlihan, and they're all playing around the half-forward area, just putting the ball over the top to the goal square in space.
Well, they hurt.
Long, Masidi, Mansfield.
It is a tough game, this footy, isn't it? That would have really hurt Heath Culpert.
There he is, back ball next to him.
You'll be right, mate. That's what he's saying.
So the Bombers have kicked 23 goals in each of their first 2 matches. Still at 7 as we get into this third quarter. So the Blues have been able to shut them down pretty well, but they haven't been able to hurt them too much themselves. Long's kick forward, and then Fletcher, who always goes long, to fall forward. Lloyd and Manton mountain away. Barnard, Manton courageously carries it forward. They've done pretty well. Can he get it out effectively? No, to Solomon. Terrific hands to Barnard. Masidi will kick 3, and he has, and they're 3 in front. Smoke and Joe's got a goal in each of the first 3 quarters.
Well, it's just after half-time, and the gates aren't open. The water's just lapping up against it at the moment, but you just get the feeling that they're just about to get a running machine into overdrive here.
Just some good scramble football here by the Bombers, and we'll see it feeds out to Solomon. He gets a quick handball to Barnard. Barnard gives it out to Joe. Joe comes through and just slots it through the middle. Just quick hands, and I think the quick handball, Dermot, is probably one of the biggest improvements in the game in the last 10 or 15 years. Players are just so quick with the short handball.
Bombers have had 34 possessions to 11 in this term.
Yeah, blitzed them, especially out of the middle as well. James Hurd's back in there again.
So Carlton have got to do something here. Hardwick, who took Culpert out very strongly a moment ago.
He always ends up on the end of it in the middle. Geez, good in there.
Hurd to centre half forward. Lappin takes them on. Gee, the kick's ambitious. It was actually a very poor option, and Wellman runs off Houlihan and bangs to Mark Johnson. Well done, Manton. He had to go for it, belted away. They've got to stop them here, you'd reckon. Solomon back, look away, handball didn't find its target. Lucas goes back, says Masidi. Masidi cleverly way to kick, but well done, Freeborn. Back to Jason Johnson, decides to load up and go for goal. He kicks it into the goal square. Blumfield, Houlihan back. They've covering some territory, a lot of these Carlton players. And speaking of one, and that's Lance Whitnell at half-back. That's where he's getting most of his kicks. Floats it to Hume. Well done to Fletcher. Simon Fletcher this is. The kick in front of Favola. Henneman. Favola and Henneman. Boundary throwing.
Tough night for Brendan Favola, number 25 in the screen there. Look, he's a young full forward. He's only had the one kick, but just about every time it gets to him, he's outnumbered.
He's also, in realistic terms, he's cannon fodder, isn't he, tonight? Because he's got to run up the ground. That's the team plan. Leave the entire forward 50 open. He's got to basically start from the goal square, but play like a midfielder and then run back in with the flight of it, and that's not his go.
Mercedes had 6 possessions down the third quarter. Hurds had 6 as well. The kick back to Lappin. Wanted to go off and then decided not to. He's got a couple of short here. He'll use Hickmott's run rather than Porter, who is the longer target. Hickmott stops, props, goes tight to the pocket. Good fly for Vola. I think the mark paid, or over the shoulder. Over the shoulder.
Bit of inexperience there by Aaron Henneman.
It's an interesting match up in Henneman for Vola, 2 20-year-olds.
Yes, yeah, 2 young up-and-comers. I don't know about his distance from here.
I reckon a good kicker there, Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big call, Dipper. It's a big kick too.
Yeah, it's home.
Boy, it's a big kick. I think it's a goal. 10 out of 10, Dipper.
Well done, Dip.
Yeah, good goal, Dipper.
Thanks, boys.
And we should pay for Vola, I think, some compliments as well, because he actually kicked it.
Well, that's right, and he got himself in front for that marking contest, and if there's any chance of a free kick, well, you'll get it if you're in that front position, but by gee, he's thumped that one, and Dipper was riding it right behind him.
Look, his stats at the end of the night aren't going to be brilliant, but if he gets another 1 or 2 of those, he's done his job. He's a decoy tonight.
Just important that Carlton get that goal, Bruce, because Essendon had rattled on 2 or 3 and they just needed to answer.
No doubt. Favola's goal gives them a lot of heart, doesn't it? And keeps it tight. Ratton, Hume, up and under to half forward. Belted away at the back, Mercury. Playing an interesting role, Mercury, isn't he?
Yeah, it is interesting because McKay, his opponent, just keeps dragging him back towards, well, Carlton's goal. So we've got Mercury playing as a half-back flanker. He's on Fletcher now.
Yep, just made that change.
So Alessio and Porter. Porter lays it to Ratton.
It's good ruck work.
Ratton left foot to half forward. Fletcher will look for a free kick, not given. Hume quickly onto it. Jason Johnson with him near the pocket, boundary throw in.
And Joe Mercedes already in this third term, only 10 minutes in, he's had 7 possessions and 5 of them have been handball received. So that hamstring's going all right, Derm.
Yeah, you'll be right, mate, from one of his teammates, Wolsey.
Right half forward, almost up to the pocket. Porter just leaned into Alessio. Ratton and Hume. Ratton back to Hume. Ratton back to Camporelli. Not a bad kick. He's got it. They're within a goal.
Well, they will not die, the Blues here. You just got the feeling a few minutes ago that Essendon were ready to just trample all over them. Scotty Camporelli, 10.5-minute mark of this quarter, had a lot of the ball in the first half, has not touched the ball except for his first one there for this third quarter, and it's worth its weight in gold.
Good play by Ratton too. He was underneath the Porter ruck work and was able to get the quick feed out. And that's what Carlton need. They need Ratton in the thick of the play.
Yep.
Essendon tried to take him out of it, and they did it successfully in that second quarter. But already in this third term, Ratton's had 4 possessions.
So back to a goal. This is a good patch for the Blues. Alessio's handball, long carrying forward. Rice quickly onto him. Mercedes, very well done. The blood for throw, was it? He had his back to us. The umpire perfectly placed Brian Sheehan. Andy McKay was pinged earlier tonight.
We've got no marking targets ahead of them, and we've got to go wide.
So Ratton gets it.
Good user.
Favola, Henneman at the back. Well done, Hurlahan.
Great pass.
Oh, brilliant. If he kicks a goal here, he's missed it. But what wonderful talent we're seeing from Hurlahan tonight.
Yeah.
See the way he distanced himself from Wellman then? 3 or 4 paces, he got an extra metre. He knows.
He's disappointed with that because he knew he did everything right except finish it off.
He's clean with his hands, isn't he?
Very.
Yep.
Hardwick back pocket. So we're back to a 5-point game after the Bombers led by 18. Beaumont belts it away. Fletcher. Interesting kick. Porter read it okay. The handball was good. Beaumont's a left footer. Well played. Held it up to Hickmott. Good
Early
kick
lead.
for Favola. The Blues can be in front if he goes here.
He started from this pocket. As you're looking at the screen there, he started from the pocket that was out on the left, and he recognised Hickmott's body movement was going to the other side. He just ran a semicircle about 5 metres in, right across the goal face. See, as he pointed out that way, he's come
kick.
right through the goal square on that lead.
It's a great kick, and Carlton players behind the play are going to Porter and Hickmott, and there's plenty of spirit there.
Does he put them in front? He does. The Blues are in front.
Well, Kevin Sheedy up in that coach's box is one unhappy camper here.
I reckon Favola got 2 third-quarter goals against Hawthorn last week, and it's been a good return here in this 5 minutes.
It's been good for him, Bruce, because he'd only had 1 kick in half a game, and your confidence can fall away, but he's working to get that front position. The 2 kicks that he's got in this quarter, 2 goals, he's been in front position.
Yeah, on the lead.
Well, the last time the Blues were in front was at the 7-minute mark of the second quarter.
Well, you know they're in trouble, the Bombers, when James Hird puts himself in at the centre bounce.
So what a terrific little patch we've seen here. Long gets it to McVeigh on the right, not his natural. Kicks to half forward. McKay attacks it hard. Hird's going to try and get involved. McVeigh's handball to Barnard. Vance ran him down. Hird and Rice. Hird elusive. Goes to Jason Johnson, a bit far. Fletcher peels it off. What a terrific contest this has been from the word go.
I think it's a coaching triumph from Wayne Britton. I think he's really set his players, given them a task to do, and they haven't let him down. Look at Porter again, rucked tirelessly.
And gets the little handball and then stops Long from going through. McKay had to sweep a handball to the line, and if he finds it, it's the result he wanted. Well, Kevin Sheedy said we want a tough game. We want to really be tested. He said that in the press conference. There's the i7sport.com.au. If you want all the stats on this match after the game, just go to our website. I think he's getting his wish, don't you, right now? They're being tested.
Yes, and again, Porter played advantage. No. Porter given away the free kick. That's the big concern. I've said it all night. I just don't know how far he can go.
In terms of his stamina, he's been asked to do a lot. Barnes, a bit up and under, to about 50. Hickmott at the back, belted away, only as far as Masidi. Didn't take it cleanly. Little handball, Mercury. Mercury, clever to Lloyd within range.
Well, I watched that contest all the way through there. Glennie Manton, before that ball came in on the kick, he was calling back teammates to give him some assistance. Lloyd went out on the lead. He went into traffic, and Glenn Manton sat back and thought, I'll be the first to run back to the goal square for the quick kick that goes for goal. Essendon don't do that. They see somebody by themselves. They have a habit, a purpose of always kicking to anybody by themselves to force that opposition player who's on them to come to them, just to make space. They will always kick to somebody by themselves.
And doesn't he settle himself down before he has a shot? Goes through a routine.
It is a pressure kick. He hasn't looked like missing so far tonight. They are behind. Has he got it? I think he's missed. Scores a level.
Well, you know he's missed when Camporeale runs to the goal square, because he's the man who'll kick it in.
That was disappointed there. That's a big black mark against Glenn Manton. He just took it very easy then and wanted to be the person taking the goal-saving mark.
Camporeale's 100% in kicking out tonight, isn't he?
Been terrific.
Mansfield, 200.
And Lance Whitnell protected his mate. Well done.
And his mate was Beaumont, who runs away, scurries away to Favola. Henneman at the back. So it's a sharp learning curve for Henneman in this quarter too, and Favola.
Well, Henneman's also playing at full back, and more pressure playing at full back than at centre half back, where he's played the first 2 weeks. Make a mistake there, cost you a goal.
So the Blues just inside 50 here, left half forward flank.
Not many players around this contest, which is good for Carlton.
Barnes works to the front. Porter, Barnes, Porter scrags him to the back. Ratton's handball found Hardwick, unfortunately for the Blues, who finds Ramanauskas, who goes to Lucas at centre half back, can stroll away, a bounce, and then goes down the line. He wants Solomon or Lloyd. Solomon, big fly. At the back, Fletcher, that's Simon Fletcher for the Blues. McKay, the ball comes out from Solomon to Lloyd. Lloyd to McCurry. McCurry to Lucas, and he misses. You would love to have been Lucas to McCurry.
Yes, yeah, he would have finished it off. And Solomon, aggressive in the contest, just so aggressive, causes the spill. That's good. That's good for the Bombers. And then he just knocks it on there. But this bloke's going to get tired running back to kick it in.
Look, the thing I was saying before in the first half about, if he kicks to somebody, the secondary possession goes up to the wing, that's great. But if they turn it over there and then, he then has to sprint from that goal square to his direct opponent, who will probably get used the other way. Oh, good fly.
And Hurd was clever. Back to McCurry. Good tackle by Mansfield. To Long. They got him. Well, there's a let-off for the Blues.
They're tackling well, Carlton. Hickmott, Mansfield, Ratton, they're really putting the body pressure on.
Mansfield looks keen, doesn't he? Good mark. Goal Porter just coughed it up to Masidi. Barnes, there's some turnovers here. The pressure from all teams. Latham runs him down. Masidi to space. Mansfield against the flow. Well played. Oh, Lloyd was very hard there.
200 gamer.
Clipped him on the head here. He's calling the umpire over.
Gee. So, Mansfield in trouble.
Let's have a look at it.
Gee, it's the Shannon Watt half-forward flank, isn't it? Of 2 weeks ago. Different incident, I know.
Yeah.
He is aggressive, Lloyd. Now, that's an interesting one.
Oh, he's added that to his game. He's added body and muscle to his frame, and there's nothing wrong. And I think it's fantastic to have an aggressive forward in your team. This is another angle at it.
Has he been reported, Tipper?
Well, Sheen went for the pencil then, so just keep an eye on Brian Sheen there.
The book is out.
Look, he's hung his arm out, and look, it probably unintentionally wants to be hard and physical. He's got that into his game, Wolsey, as you've called, which is great. But he's hung the arm out there instinctively, accidentally, I'd say, knowing the boy reasonably well. But that's worthy of putting the number down on the notebook.
Mansfield's kicked to centre wing. Gee, Porter's having a good patch here. McCurry slaps it out basically to Masidi. They've been combining well in this quarter. Masidi cleverly gets it back to Lloyd, to Hardwick.
Masidi's in trouble behind play.
Carousel front spot, Hume down low, found his target.
Yeah.
Hickmott.
Well done. Good composure. They are trying to find each other. They don't want to waste the footy.
And you also feel, Robert, as if Essendon's throwing everything at them right now, and they're actually holding up, aren't they?
This is a vital stage of the game.
Ratton just chips, wants Favola. He's the go-to man at the moment. Solomon crunched.
Oh, they love that, the Blues. Favola putting that tackle on. Now, even though he hasn't been rewarded, that's something that they've been at him and at him and at him to add to his game. And you can bet your bottom dollar they'll highlight that to him right through the week.
I reckon Joe Masidi's trying to call to the bench here.
Yeah,
is that centre half back?
Now, Dermot.
Has he?
Yeah.
I reckon he's trying to call to the bench to say, I'm not quite right. He's jogging around, but he's going at half rat power. He's sore.
Porter might be getting a bit tired too. Barnes was very clever there. Out wide, they get it to Hurd.
He's cramped.
Yeah, he's cramped, Hurd. Gee,
Masidi coming off, boys.
Gee, well, Hurd might be following him shortly, though. He's going to shrug it off, I think. Here's just making Joe.
Well, the Bombers have dominated possessions this quarter, 66-41, but Carlton's just hanging in and giving a physical contest.
Fletcher the target. Whitnell did pretty well. Then Fletcher bangs it forward. Luke, oh, well done, Maiten.
Good things are going right.
Gee, that's an ominous sign, isn't it, when he out? I wonder if, Lloyd's probably slightly distracted. Can he get the boundary line? He doesn't. Jacobs is there. And then goes back inboard. Cut off, though, by Mansfield. He's had a cheeky quarter, I reckon.
Yes.
Got flattened, picked himself up, but he's going all right.
Playing with courage, and this bloke, two ex-Geelong players. Mansfield out to Hickmott.
Played in a couple of losing grand finals together with Johnny Barnes, didn't they?
Yep. Against
the West Coast Eagles. Back to Hurd, inboard. Now Fletcher's such a long kick. He goes, bang! Solomon's a danger man in this situation. The ball comes to ground. Solomon, brilliantly done. What a goal. Oh. That is magnificent stuff.
that is just sensational football. He knew what he was doing. It was reflex. He turned, he spun, he knew he couldn't pick it up. He would have been tackled. He put the boot into it and straight through. That's a great goal. And Dermot, I reckon Kevin Sheedy might actually smile at him at three-quarter time because he gave him a bake at quarter time.
Sure did. That's a real groin terror. One thing I would say about the way that Essendon have set up, why they probably aren't further ahead, Walls, is because even though they've outnumbered them grossly in their possessions this quarter, they've actually got no winning centre-half forward. So all the possession coming forward for Essendon, they're getting run down from behind and the ball's dropping at centre-half for them and nobody is taking charge of there. They've got sort of mobile half-forward flankers playing there.
James Hird dropped back to full forward.
Solomon 9 possessions for the match, 5 in this quarter, including that freakish goal. High on Hume there, Solomon.
Could never be anything but a free kick there, and that little bloke will have a go back. The little boy from Frankston.
Camporelli goes wide for Vola again.
Good lead.
Henneman at the back. Lappin and Ramanauskas. And the Blues, I think, are happy to hold it.
One thing about Vola tonight, he's certainly leading, isn't he, Robert? He's making himself, present in front of the pack at all times.
Been terrific this quarter, Dipper. I reckon he's been on the lead out in front of Henneman 5 times in this third term.
It's our double vision, which has picked up some great things over the last 3 weeks, and particularly with Lloyd as we've been covering these Bomber matches. Run down Blumfield, Lappin good. In close by Ratton, but Hickmont too short. The wrong execution in the end. Solomon's become a very important player in this quarter. It was a decent-looking kick, but Massey's done well on the second grab. Had to mark it because the numbers were with the Bombers.
He's been solid at centre-half back, Massey, on Lucas.
Kick wide to Beaumont, and he's trying to run off because...
That's 50. He's cribbed on the mark there, and very well done, Michael Long. He held them up long enough then.
Camporelli, nice kick to Porter. Now Lappin's running. Lappin will be the target. Goes to him now. Lappin has to turn around. It's a terrible kick. Lappin's done well to bring it down. Can he take his man on? Jason Johnson with him. He's dog-tied. Lappin high tackle, free kick. Oh, they were lucky, but it was there.
We'll have to get a call from Dipper. Will he kick this? Because you got the other one. Porter coming off.
Yeah,
Dipper.
Porter coming off. I think Matthew Lappin's good enough to kick this goal. That's what he's there for.
Well, we'll try to pick up. Well, Houghton's come on, so Houghton will do the ruck work. They had to do that. They had to give him some support. Now Dipper, will he kick it?
Well, he's good enough. That's why he's there for. And he's so clever in front of goal. And I prefer him to see him on the run, but I reckon he'll snag this one.
He's been heroic, that big fella Porter, hasn't he?
He's been terrific.
Didn't he take a deep breath or two?
He did.
Lappin from the pocket. Not going to do it, Johnny Barker, and come back. And it's a behind. So back to a 1-goal game.
He was sitting on the bench there, and I've got to go check the boundary line in front of him because I reckon he sucked up the chalk off the boundary line there. He's still heaving pretty hard, isn't he?
He's earned his rest, hasn't he, late in this quarter?
John Barnes right down the middle of the ground. Will Fletcher go long?
Gee, he gave up on the lead on Fletcher there, on Porter as well, Barnes.
He's
when he marked that last one.
Barnes is in the frame. At the back, Carousel, it's all with the Bombers. To Jacobs, to Long. They've set up well here. To Jason Johnson. It's a paddock. Hird wants it over the top, and so does Solomon. Solomon's a chance. He's a really good chance. Hird. Oh, well done, the Blues. And a free kick. They did well because Hird and Solomon looked in the van, didn't they?
Well, they were in the box seat, the Bombers, but the Carlton defenders just stuck at it.
You're sort of sitting here and I feel like I'm barracking for the Blues. It's just because they're such underdogs without Bradley, Silvani, Koutafidis and Allen. You can't help yourself, can you?
Yeah, it's a gutsy effort in the Bruce as we see Alessio on. And Barnes, who struggled all night, is on the bench. And Masidi, look, I think he's out for the rest of the game, got the blanket over the leg.
Look, I was really disappointed in Barnes when Porter led up the middle of the ground at centre-half forward. Barnes, he probably had 10 paces to get to him and just gave up on the lead. Just corralled him, didn't try and make the effort.
Hardwick gets it from Carosella. Whitnell got rid of Fletcher. Back to Blumfield. The smother comes away. Back to Jason Johnson. The smother again. Gee, Wayne Britton's going to enjoy the video of this to show some of the Carlton boys the good things they've done in close.
They've got some blokes who aren't playing well, the Bombers. I mean, McCurry comes to mind straight away. Yeah. He's not finding a lot of it.
They've just fumbled a bit tonight. Houghton will be good in the ruck. He may not be so good in the ruck contest, in the tapping of the ball, but around the ground he's very mobile. He can take a mark.
We might give him another run-through player at the ball.
Yep.
Whitnell. McCurry. Fletcher held up by McKay-McCurry. I think it was a high throw again. So it's a Carlton free kick.
All right, this is where the Bombers will get back and try and give Henneman support. Yeah, it was a throw. There's the open-handed flick. Try and give him support here against Favola, who's in the goal, and Carlton are doing very well, keeping it open. See, there they are. Favola wants it out to the left-hand side of screen.
And McKay's kicked it to him. Mark taken by Jacobs. The kick was a bit short.
Pretty standard lead too. There was no real excitement to it. He just pointed and jogged.
Manton got it down, and then Lappin. Favola, good take. Inboard, Ramanauskas, cleverly done. Goes back to Mark Johnson. Mark Johnson's handball cut off. Lappin, he's a pretty good finisher. 55 metres out. It's a good kick. Needed a leg break. It's a behind.
Just something that the Bombers have done tonight. They've had 106 handballs to this stage of the game. Carlton's only had 72. And I just think they are over-possessing the ball. Sometimes you've just got to get it on quickly. They always look to give it to a teammate in a better position, but you can be a bit cute with it.
This quarter, 41-14 the handballs, the Bombers to the Blues.
I think they're overplaying the handball. They just need to settle down and just get a bit of distance with their possessions.
Lucas comes off, Massey stays on, and little Gary Moorcroft comes on. So will Massey come off straight away?
Houghton belts away. Free kick for a push, I think, to the Bombers.
He's called advantage.
Well, a few had stopped, but Hardwick's away. Now here's a chance down the line. Mark Johnson. Houlihan's 10 metres behind him. Johnson goes to fall forward. Solomon at the back. Lloyd, wonderful mark. Oh, no free kick, is it, for push?
Well, are they having some luck close to goal, Carlton?
Free kicks in this quarter are 11 to Carlton and 2 to the Bombers.
There's Chris Massey, who didn't even bother to run over to Gary Moorcroft when he came on. Just went deep into the goals. Gave them an extra man there.
Lappin did well at the back against the odds. And then Rice, chippy kick. Houghton will be set up. Alessio. Well done, Whitnell, to make the contest. Ramanauskas and Lappin. Lappin having a spirited term here, isn't he? Boundary throw in.
I think Lappin and Houlihan, look, they're skinny bodies, but they're having a real crack. Hickmott's been strong and hard at it. Ratton as well.
18 possessions for Lappin.
Well, if the Bombers wanted a hard game, they've got it tonight.
Massey on to Caracella now, and his opponent Freeborn's gone over to pick up Moorcroft, so they've rejigged.
Alessio gets a free kick from the boundary throw-in. Hardwick and Houlihan. Well, he's turned it over, Hardwick here. The free kick was going to the Bombers.
Yep.
So Houlihan gets it. Oh, the kick's not good enough. Mark Johnson. They're dropping in front of Favola pretty effectively, the Bombers, aren't they, in the last couple of forays forward. Johnny Jacobs, half-back centre wing, he's just looking around.
Favola, when he leads from the square, he just makes up his mind whatever direction he's going, and that's the way he goes. He doesn't trick the defence into thinking he's going somewhere else.
Great mark, Fletcher. Terrific kick to Lloyd. No, yes, a free kick to Lloyd, I think. Gee, Fletcher was good there.
I reckon Fletcher could be the one who turns the game for the Bombers. If they play him at centre-half forward, he can mark, he can kick. He created that opportunity for Matthew Lloyd. It's so handy to have a player who you can swing from full-back to centre-half, back to centre-half forward.
They stopped getting all their run out of deep defence, Essendon, haven't they? You're so used to seeing the ball come in one way, and they spear it out the other, and there's a chain of handballs and short kicks, and they take it the full length of the ground. Just haven't seen that this quarter.
There they are in a group at centre-half forward.
A little bit of fun.
Moorcroft and Humour at it as Lloyd goes for goal. It's a good kick. It's a great kick. He's goal. Well, he's got his average. He's up to 4 again.
That one would be worth going to see. Moorcroft on screen there against Darren Hume, who's going back to the centre of the ground now. It'll be like little Tojo against who was the other bloke who used to fight?
Well, call it,
Moorcroft on the toes. He's trying to bluff him with height there.
A couple of tough nuts.
Little Tojo against Cowboy. What's his name? I can't remember. People are going to write in and tell me now, I'm sure.
James Hurd in at the centre bounce. So too Mark Johnson. Big Alessio up against Houghton. Let's see how Houghton goes.
Cowboy Gibson.
Gee, the Blues would be pretty happy, I reckon, if they could hold the Bombers to this. Inside the last minute, Wellman out wide, getting towards the line, boundary throw in.
He's a good player, Sean Wellman. He's just got better and better as the years have gone by. They love to free him up if they can, but he's had to take responsibility in this third quarter, playing on the dangerous Houlihan.
Suits him playing on him because Houlihan's not a body type player, and that's probably the one area where Wellman does get into a little bit of trouble against a good body player.
Fletcher.
Oh, well done.
Mark Johnson's hip and shoulder terrific
Well
on Camporelli. Back to Wellman, to centre half forward. Houghton on his own takes the mark.
They will try to work Camporelli over with hard physical bumps. Nothing wrong with that, but they know that if they can slow him down, the run out of Carlton's midfield will diminish.
Hickmott short. Well,
That's a good quarter.
And the Bombers, for the third consecutive quarter, have outscored the Blues, but boy, we still have a contest. 8-9 to 10-8. They led by a point at quarter time. They led by 6 at half time, and they lead by 11 at three-quarter time. As Wayne Britton comes down, we saw Kevin Sheedy a moment ago. 8 goals, 9 to 10-8. It is set up for what should be a terrific last term here. It could be a classic, and we've had some on 7, haven't we, over the last 45 years.